UFC on ESPN Plus number 10. We got Rafael Dos Anjos taking on Kevin Lee. I want to jump right into the welterweight main event and get my prediction for this fight. I really like Kevin Lee going into this fight. I really think his wrestling is going to play a big role in him being victorious in this fight. We've seen in the past where RDA really struggled with high-level wrestlers such as Usman and Kobe Covington. We've seen him lost to Clay Guida and also guys like Habib. And I think Kevin Lee really has a similar style to those guys. And I think Kevin Lee should be able to pose his will on RDA, get the takedowns, really make RDA tired and, maybe win a decision or even could get the stoppage. RDA has more experience going into this fight. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. He's also going to be the smaller guy going into this fight. Kevin Lee holds the reach advantage. And, Kevin Lee, he lost to Ally Quinton, so we know he's going to be really hungry to get back in the winning column, I feel. So I like Kevin Lee to win this fight. I mean, RDA, he has ways to win this fight. If he's able to stuff the takedowns and be able to strike, he can win those exchanges. But I just think he has a lot of miles on him. He's up there in age now. He's 34. Just like the younger, fresher fighter. Got to go with the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee, getting it done. As we move into the UFC co-main event, we have another welterweight showdown. We got Vicente Luque taking on Neil Magny here. Very tough fight to call here. We know that Vicente Luque just coming off a war with Brian Barberina. I mean, awesome fight. He got the TKO late in round 3. He also TKO'd Jalen Turner and Chad Priest. Also holds a submission victory over Nico Price. So I really think that Neil Magny is going to be the toughest fight he's ever had so far. Neil Magny's coming off a nasty TKO loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio back in Argentina. Neil Magny, he's a solid veteran in the game right now. He holds wins over former champs like Johnny Hendricks and Carlos Condit. So Neil Magny, he's been around the game for a while. He also holds a win over Kelvin Gastelum. So he beat, some of the top tier guys. But he really has trouble with the strikers that throw with a lot of high value, such as Lorenz Larkin and Santiago Ponzinibbio. And I think the Silent Assassin should be able to win this fight here. I think he should be able to outstrike Neil Magny and possibly get the TKO here. So we got to go with Luque winning this fight. As we move forward on to this fight card, got Aspen Ladd taking on Sachara Eubanks in a rematch. I really see this fight playing out the same way it did the first time they fought. And I want to go with Aspen getting it done. I don't really want to spend too much time on this fight, but I'm going to keep this one short. We got Aspen Ladd winning this fight. As we move on to a middleweight showdown, we got Antonio Carlos Jr. taking on Ian Heinisch. I like Antonio Carlos Jr. to win this fight here. I just don't think Ian Heinisch has fought the level of competition, as Antonio Carlos Jr. coming off a big win over Tim Boach. And, he has a lot more experience over the bright lights and fighting in front of the UFC crowd. He's got wins over Eric Spicely and Jack Marshman. Ian Heinisch, on the other hand, is coming off a big win over Cesar Ferreira. And, that was his first fight in the UFC. So he did pretty well, performing under the big lights for the first time. But, I just don't think he's fought in the UFC enough, so I got to go with Antonio Carlos Jr. to get it done. As we move on to another fight here, I want to talk about another rematch here on this card. We got Nick Lentz taking on Charles Oliveira 2. I really like Charles Oliveira to get it done here again. We've seen Nick Lentz have a very tough fight where I thought he lost against Scott Holtzman, but the judges scored it for Nick. He's also beat Gray Maynard, and he's riding a 2-fight win streak here. But Nick Lentz, his stand up really hasn't improved in my opinion. And we know Charles Oliveira is not the guy you want to take down to the ground. I mean, he has vicious submission games. I mean, he's a younger, fresher fighter. He has a lot less fights. I mean, and Nick Lentz, he's 30-9. And he holds a reach advantage, so that'll play a big role in this fight also. He's taller, 5'10". So yeah, man. Plus Charles Oliveira, he's on a big 4-fight win streak, you know what I mean? So it's hard not to go with Charles here. Beat David Tamer, you look good against Jim Miller. Also sub Clay Guida. So we got to go with Charles Oliveira getting it done. As we move into another fight, we got Davey Ramos taking on Austin here. I got to go with Davey Ramos here, Davey Ramos is a guy that I've seen compete in the UFC numerous times. He has a lot of experience fighting in the UFC. He beat John Gunther, Nick Hine, and he also beat Chris Meyer. So we know he lost to Sergio Moraes. But this guy Austin that he's fighting here is making his debut on the UFC. And we really haven't had a chance to really take a good look at this guy. He's 10-2 here. But I got Davey Ramos getting it done, man. Just more experience fighting under the UFC banner, so that's why I go Davey Ramos there. As we move into another women's fight card, we got Megan Anderson taking on the one and only Felicia Spencer. I like Megan Anderson to get it done. One thing that stands out to me right off the bat here is the height and the reach advantage going into this fight. Megan Anderson's going off a big win. Nasty head kick that she landed on Kazigano. So yeah, I really like Megan Anderson here. Her opponent, Felicia Spencer, is making her debut in the UFC. She doesn't have that much experience. She's 6-0. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm taking Megan Anderson here to win on that fight here on this card. So as we move forward, we got Mike Trizano, the Ultimate Fighter, taking on Grant Dawson here. Very tough fight here to call. We've seen both of these men coming off of big wins. They're both on big win streaks. Mike Trizano on the other side, he beat Violent Bob Ross, and he looked very good in that fight. Grant Dawson on the other side, we just seen him compete not too long ago, where he was very successful in getting the fight done against Julian Rosa. Got it done by decision. But I like Mike Trizano to get it done here. I really like these fighters that grow up in the Ultimate Fighter house. Just think, fighting in that Ultimate Fighter house, living in that type of, style, it make you a real champ. So we go Mike Trizano to get it done. As we move into another fight here, we got Des Green taking on Charles here. I like Des Green getting it done, man. We just seen how he ran through Ross Pearson. I mean, he KO'd him pretty nasty. And, he's taking on a guy who's making his debut here, Charles here. He's been fighting under the Canadian banner TKO, where a lot of the prospects of Canada start off. But, I think he's making, a debut on a very tough dangerous fighter like Des Green. So I want to go with Des Green here. Plus, he has tons of more experience going into this fight compared to this guy here. So Des Green is the way to go. We got Pat Cummins taking on Ed Herman, two solid veterans here going at it. I could tell this is going to be a nice sloppy fight right here, man. But, I got to go with my boy Patrick Cummins here. I think he's going to be able to get this fight down on the ground. Really use his wrestling to be victorious here in this fight. Ed Short, Fuse Herman, he got more experience as you can tell. But he's been fighting for a long time under the UFC banner. But I think Patty K. Cummins is going to get it done. Let's go. All right. Danny Roberts taking on Michael Pereira here. We know that Michael Pereira is making his debut in the UFC here. Danny Roberts is coming off of a loss, against Claudio Henrique del Silva. So I really think that Danny Roberts should be able to get it done here, man. This guy's making his debut, and we just don't know, how he's going to do under the big lights. Just want to go on the safe side and go with Danny Roberts to get it done here. Danny Roberts has clean striking. He should be able to pick him apart, maybe get the TKO. So Danny Roberts is my pick here for that fight. So moving to the middleweight division, we got Zach Cummins taking on Trevin Giles here. The problem is, yeah, man, I got to jump right with Trevin Giles here to get it done. I mean, the problem, he's a young up-and-coming guy. Zach Cummins, he's a real veteran, man. He's been in the game for a while, but to me, he really hasn't improved that much. He's just the same old Zach Cummins, you know what I mean? I think that Trevin Giles, he's undefeated for a reason, you know what I mean? He's been 3-0 so far in the UFC, and he holds wins. 2-0 in the UFC. Sorry about that. And also holds a win over Ryan Spann here in LFA. So, yeah, I like Trevin Giles getting it done. As we move to the last fight on the card, we got Julio Arce taking on Julian Rosa here. I like to go with Julio Arce getting it done. Julian Rosa is running a 2-fight losing streak. Doesn't have the best chin. And, we've seen him get exposed by Grant Dawson in that fight. So I want to go with Julio getting it done. Those are pretty much my picks for UFC on ESPN 10. Like, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think about my picks. Comment below and let me know some of your picks. Thank you guys for watching, man.